wrestling fans. My name is Brian Crazy. You are watching the F brand of wrestling and entertainment here on YouTube.com. Thanks for tuning in once again. I am back with my review of the longest-running weekly episodic television show in history. That's right, Monday Night Raw for August 6, 2012. Monday Night Raw emanated from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas, and it was a great show in my opinion. We started off the show with a recap of last week, and when AJ Lee named not only John Cena but the Big Show as #1 contenders for CM Punk's WWE title at the up-and-coming SummerSlam pay-per-view. Then AJ Lee started off the show. She announced his show versus Orton, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena, and Punk versus an opponent the WWE Universe will decide via Twitter, and that match is up next. Punk ends up going against none other than Rey Mysterio, chosen by the fans, and Punk puts away Rey Mysterio quickly via Go to Sleep. Del Rio then arrives backstage, and then we go into a return promo for Wade Barrett, a very well-done video package, and then we go into Del Rio and AJ backstage. Del Rio is asking AJ if he has a match. AJ says, no, you don't have a match tonight. And Del Rio says, thank God he didn't do anything crazy. AJ goes, what did he say to me? And then books him into a match against the former Intercontinental Champion, Christian. Del Rio end up going one-on-one. This is a great contest. Del Rio does pick up a quick, decisive win over Christian. Then we go into the Big Show versus Randy Orton. This ends up going to a double countout, but post-match, Randy Orton ends up hitting the RKO on the Big Show. Then we go into Ryback versus Tyler Rex and Kurt Hawkins. Ryback picks up a quick win over Rex and Hawkins. And the one thing I got to ask about the Ryback character to you guys, the fans and subscribers, is when Ryback first broke in, it seemed like his character was that of a machine. Feed the machine. Feed me more. Now it seems he's more of a predator. He's more of a hunter. He's more of a whatever you want to call him. I want to know your guys' thoughts. Do you guys like the change in character? Does the change in character really make that much of a difference? I don't think it makes that much of a difference, but I think from my point of view that I like the machine character a little bit more than the predator character, but that is, I guess, for every fan to make his own determination on. Then we go into tag team action, Primo and Epico versus the Primetime Players. It looks like the Primetime Players are going to try to run out on this match like they've done so many times until they're stopped by the tag team champions, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. Primo and Epico end up getting them back in the ring. Epico hits the backstabber and picks up the win. Then we go into what is supposed to be Damian Sandow versus Brodus Clay. Sandow attacks before the match even starts. And I got to say, Sandow's only been back in the WWE for a few months. I don't know if you guys remember him during his first run as Idol Stevens, but it's amazing what they've been able to do by repackaging this guy, allowing him to get a little more training, polishing his craft a little bit more. Now he's one of the top heels in the WWE, and he's only been back a few months. I see Damian Sandow doing huge things in the WWE. But Sandow attacks Clay before the match even starts, and then we go into Divas Action. We have not seen Divas Action on WWE TV in quite some time, especially Monday Night Raw. And a few months ago, they were really going the right direction. They were showing great Divas matches. They were several minutes long. They were entertaining. They were getting the fans excited about the Divas division once again. And then they totally dropped the ball. We haven't seen Divas matches in months, and I was hoping with this new 3-hour format, more superstars would get a chance to shine, get a chance to show what they can do in the ring, because that's the only way that you can prove yourself is in front of the fans, because without the fans, these superstars would be performing in front of empty arenas. And I guess, maybe, well, if there wasn't fans, empty arenas, no people watching on TV, you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say. But then we go into Divas Action. I wish it was a little bit longer, but Kelly Kelly is just returning after a 2-month break. So, of course, her ring skills aren't where they were at before she left, but Kelly Kelly is still green, and she's always been a little green. But every superstar does not come in knowing everything. If they knew everything, how would they get better? They can only get better from here, hopefully. So Kelly Kelly ends up picking up the win over Eve Torres. And Eve Torres has just had a real bad run of luck since losing her job as the executive administrator to John Laurinaitis' regime when he was the general manager of not only Raw but SmackDown. Then we see HBK comes out. He cuts a promo, and he's interrupted by the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar and his legal representative and Paul Heyman come out, and they're bullying HBK. So out comes Triple H, and it looks like we might see a little brawl. But Lesnar cuts a quick promo to end this segment and ends up leaving the ring. There is no physicality at all. Then we see Ziggler versus Alex Riley. Chris Jericho is sitting commentary throughout this match, and he ends up distracting Dolph Ziggler. He says Ziggler says, I can't win the big one. Well, he can't even win the small one. He ends up distracting by recording a tout. He's standing on the announce table, and this allows Alex Riley to pick up a quick win. Alex Riley has not been on Raw in months, and Alex Riley is a really promising talent. He was one of the most promising mid-card talents last year after breaking out from under the Miz's wing, and it really looked like he was going to do something. Now there's a lot of backstage rumors that there might have been an issue between him and John Cena. I guess they were ribbing each other backstage, poking fun at each other, and I guess Alex Riley took exception. That breaks the locker room code of conduct. It's a real shame, and I really hope that he starts to get more of a push now that Raw has been extended to this new format. Then we go into Kane versus The Miz. This is a non-title match. Miz is the reigning Intercontinental Champion, and Kane picks up a quick, decisive win over The Miz. Then we go into the main event, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. This is a great match. We end up seeing John Cena pick up the win over Daniel Bryan via AA, and I think this is the first time these two superstars have squared off on Monday Night Raw. Now, like I said, this is a great match. Post-match, we see CM Punk come out. Him and John Cena stand face-to-face until the Big Show comes out. A brawl ends up breaking out, and John Cena and the Big Show are laid out by CM Punk. CM Punk then goes ringside. He grabs one of the empty mics at the commentary position, and he starts speaking his mind. He goes to get back in the ring, and he tries to get Big Show once again, but the Big Show hits him with the knockout blow. Big Show also hits John Cena with the knockout blow, and then ends Monday Night Raw holding the WWE title high in the air. I wasn't really expecting this ending, but I like where they went with this. Instead of making Big Show look like a third wheel, they make Big Show look like a dominating heel who can defeat both these superstars. It would be a surprising twist if the Big Show did pick up the WWE title, but I highly doubt that. In my honest opinion, from what I've seen and from watching wrestling for so long, and what I've also read on wrestling news websites, it looks like CM Punk is going to retain at SummerSlam. Then him and John Cena will probably end up facing off again at the Night of Champions pay-per-view. There's a very good chance that John Cena might pick up the strap. It is in his home state of his home state of Massachusetts, his hometown of Boston. And there's a chance to CM Punk retains. He goes all the way to the Royal Rumble, and he does square off against The Rock. They have started to set up some sort of feud between The Rock and CM Punk. I could see The Rock picking up the title at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, running with it to WrestleMania, and possibly a rematch between John Cena and The Rock from WrestleMania 28. So many wrestling news websites and so many wrestling fans have said they wanted to see that or speculated that it may happen. I want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know your guys' opinions. But to close out this video, I think my only complaint about Monday Night Raw is with some of the layout of the matches and promo packages. I think that having 9 matches on the card tonight was phenomenal. We got to see 18 superstars. That's right, 18 superstars featured in just those matches alone. That's outside promo packages and this, that, and the other. And I think the one thing that they could do to really make Monday Night Raw a little more interesting and keep the fans and viewers hooked in for a little bit longer is at 8 o'clock, do the big opening segment. At 9 o'clock, do a big in-ring segment. At 10 o'clock, do a big segment. At 11 o'clock, to close out the show, do something to make sure the fans tune in next week to see what happens. And what I mean by that is, at 8 o'clock, something interesting happens. That hooks you in from 8 to 9. At 9, something interesting happens. That hooks you in from 9 to 10. At 10 o'clock, something interesting happens. That hooks you in from 10 to 11. And at 11, you get something interesting to close out the show. Now, I know that's a lot of feuds going on at once, and I know that's a lot of packages and this, that, and the other, but it can happen. I mean, guys, if you remember back 10 years ago, and I'm not sounding nostalgic for the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, this, that, or the other, but every single person had a storyline. I mean, down to the referees, down to the ring announcer. Remember William Garcia and the Visser storyline. Remember the referees, the scab referees. They went on strike. Remember the feud between Howard Finkel and Tony Chimel. I mean, everybody had a storyline. And I think it's just, I hate to say it, laziness on WWE's part that everybody does it. I think WWE's playing it safe right now, and they know that they can play it safe because they have no major competition. If they stopped playing it safe so much and started amping it up, now what would happen? Could they wow us if they wanted to? If buy rates started to fall right now, they could pull out so many tricks out of their hat, they could wow us. That's what I mean by playing it safe. I want to know your guys' thoughts. I want to know your guys' feedback. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick review. I'll catch you a little bit later with some news updates, and have a great afternoon.